Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest today. We have an author all the way from Duxbury, Massachusetts. At first I couldn't figure out where it was, and then I remembered it's near Kingston, where I used to live. Where is my head? We have William Goyette, Bill Goyette, and he is the author of In Our Blood, a Jake Hawksworth thriller. Now, I thought I'd lost the book, or it didn't get to me. I found it at home, but he was sweet enough to bring in an extra copy today. And you can also pick one up downstairs. But I had gotten part of the way through it, I think last night or two when I found it. I love it.
Thank you.
Give the viewers a taste of what this is all about.
Okay, so I don't want to give away too much of the plot because there are some pretty cool twists in the book.
I love the cover, by the way. Did you?
I was involved in the design of it,
yeah.
I gave my thoughts. I wanted a wintry scene.
Yeah.
The original draft that came back, there was way too much blood on it. And I said, this isn't a horror novel.
Yeah.
So they toned it down. I have gotten really great feedback on the cover. I had one person tell me there was too much blood in the letter O in the middle, which I thought was a little tricky.
I think it's pretty appropriate.
But I was happy with how it came out.
All right. Now, take us through what you can.
Okay, so you're first introduced to Jake Hawksworth. He's kind of a tortured soul. His wife has recently died in a mysterious hit and run accident and has remained unsolved. He has a daughter who's in college. One of those overprotective dads, being in his line of work, and it begins where he's investigating a murder, and then he ends up getting a call from he's a best-selling suspense novelist called Drew Macaulay, who you will find out as the story progresses that Jake and Drew have a past together. Back when Drew was a child, there was a crime that he was involved in, and it was actually one of Jake's first cases when Jake was just starting out on the force. Yeah. And it appears, I don't want to give away too much.
Well, the first part is there's a kid who's died, right? They're investigating his murder.
Yeah, they're investigating murder, and then and there's actually this author contacts Jake because he's known him since he was a boy. His son has just been kidnapped. Yeah. So he calls Jake to help him with that. And as the story progresses, you will start to wonder, is the boy's kidnapping somehow related to Jake's wife's death? Is it somehow related to the crime from 30 years ago? Again, I don't want to give away too much.
That's okay.
But you'll find out as the story progresses. It just increasingly... it's almost like a roller coaster.
It's a nail-biter thriller.
Yes.
That's this is your first book?
My first novel. I'm actually working on 2 more right now. 2? I have another Jake in the works, and then I have a standalone, which I'm probably almost halfway through with.
So, so which is going to come out first?
I think the standalone. Originally, I had the second Jake book going, but I had gotten so far with the other one, and it's almost as though it's writing itself. Yeah. So I decided I'm going to finish that one, and then I'm going to jump back on Jake.
Okay, so that one should be out. The next one, when do you think?
The next one I'm hoping to have complete by spring.
What's the name of it? Can you give us?
Yes, it's called This Guy Walks Into a Bar.
This Guy Walks Into a Bar.
It's about an average Joe who gets mixed up with the mafia.
I think I love that.
It's a pretty cool premise. It actually, I had a similar experience happen to me that happened to this average Joe. I'm not in the mafia, but I had a kind of a run-in of sorts. So I kind of based it up on that. Yeah. But the second Jake book, that's called Little Red Herrings. Yeah. And that will it'll. A lot of mayhem, a lot of
thriller,
a lot of cool plot twists. That one, I'm probably about 50 pages into it now. Yeah. So as soon as I finish with the other book, I will jump right back on that. And then I have 2 more Jake books already.
Already in your
Outlined
mind.
in my
Already
head.
outlined.
Yes.
Now, you have appeared at, is it Duxbury Library?
I haven't yet, although I am going to be.
There was another library I think you mentioned. Was it somebody you'd been? Or?
Let's see. I've been to. I've actually contacted a few libraries in my area, so I just need to. This was around the holidays,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
it was
yeah.
crazy. So now I'm going to start making things happen with them.
Right. That's important. I was sharing with Bill. It's so important to get the word out about your book, do your presentations, your book signings.
Exactly.
Now, how do they get a hold of one of your books?
Well, it's available on Amazon. Amazon.com. I don't have it out in bookstores, although you can order it through Barnes & Noble. People are ordering it through there. Although I think Amazon, I think you get a better price on Amazon, actually.
Right.
So, and the ebook, for some reason, seems to be
You've got it
selling.
on ebook?
I have an ebook and print copy. The ebook is by far selling much.
Are you
much
serious?
I think it's
I
just.
don't like ebook.
I don't
love
either.
this.
I
Right
love
here.
holding a book,
Oh,
dog-earing
yeah.
it. I love holding and smelling.
Well, yeah,
a
I
new
want to
book.
see the he said the magic word, holding it, smelling a
Yes.
new book.
There's
And
nothing like.
to see the cover, and
Exactly.
it's just, it's a tactile experience. I don't want to lose that.
But I think so many people now. I mean, I understand people who travel. Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense to have a Kindle. So I'm definitely seeing much more of my sales through Kindle.
Now, when did you start writing?
Oh, I started this book years ago. Actually, I started when my girls were young, and I put it aside because life got in the way.
Yeah.
Raising
What were you doing
kids.
for work at the time?
I'm a writer, so I'm actually a copy chief. So I have been writing retail advertising for past 25 years.
Retail advertising.
Yes.
Doing the, actually not photographing it, but writing what it's going to say in the ad.
Writing product copy, and yes. I've freelanced for many companies, so I've done everything from, I've written medical websites, I've done, high tech, fashion, you name it, and I've pretty much written.
But did you go to college for that?
I actually went to school for communications and design. I was originally an art director.
Where?
I started out in a company called Interface Group, which is no longer around. It was a trade show company,
Yeah.
and I was working as an art director, and then I went on a job interview for an art director job, but the copy chief liked my resume so much that
Yeah.
she asked if I would want to interview for a copywriter position,
Oh my
and she
God.
ended up hiring me.
I bet you were
And-
surprised, huh?
Yeah, because I had been wanting to switch gears anyway.
Yeah.
I was really wanting to move in the direction of copy,
Yeah.
and so that kind of landed me there. And then from there, I just
But you've always been a writer.
always been a writer. It just I was professionally working as an
In
art
high school,
director.
too? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. I didn't know I was as good at it
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
Um,
Then did you go to college after?
yes.
Where'd you go?
So I went to UMass Amherst
Yeah.
and Fitchburg State,
Oh, yeah.
and that's where I met my wife.
Yeah, yeah. Have you heard of Plymouth State up in
Yes.
New Hampshire? That's where I went. I
Okay, yes.
majored in art. Never
Okay.
did. I didn't do anything with it except
Right.
if I do something at home.
Right.
But I started off with elementary ed because all the other girls were doing
Right.
it.
Yeah.
But I got up there and I said, "Man, my roommate's an art major. She looks cooler than this. Looks
Right.
great." So I, without even asking Mom and Dad, switched.
Right. Well, I started out as an engineering major
Engineering?
because my dad was an engineer, my brother was an engineer, and I think I felt I need to follow.
Did you
in their
like it?
footsteps. I didn't.
You didn't.
I didn't like it, and my dad said, "If you don't like it now, get out." So
Right.
my freshman year of college,
He was
I
supportive.
changed majors.
That is
Yes.
so good. No, my father was not happy when I said, I want to leave college. I figured, why would you pay to put me here if I'm
Right.
not happy? Oh, I didn't see it that way.
Exactly.
No. Do you have siblings that are writers?
I have 4 siblings, and none of them are writers.
None of them. Were you
No.
the youngest?
I am the number 4. So I have one older brother. He's the engineer. I have 2 older sisters and then a younger sister.
Wow, you're kind of like right in the
So-
middle.
Yes.
Oh,
So, yeah, I think I got my creativity from my dad because he was more the artistic type.
yeah.
And then my younger daughter, she's now followed my footsteps. I noticed when she was probably about 10 years old that there was just something there with her writing.
Yeah.
So I kind of nudged her in that direction, and she's just
So
really creative.
When
writer.
this first came to you, Bill,
Mhm.
were you working outside the home or just just you were in between jobs, or what was it?
I was actually, I had been laid off.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever been laid off from a job,
Yeah.
and I had a baby,
Yeah.
and so I was in a little bit of a panic. My uncle owned a security company, so while I was looking for a new job, I was working a night shift.
Oh my God! My husband worked as a security guard.
Did he?
Yeah.
So I would sit overnight. I was in either a car dealership all night long,
Yeah.
or it was a creepy old bank in Quincy.
Oh, that's quite a. That,
Which was supposedly haunted. So,
Oh, good.
So I started writing when I would be sitting there at night. I was
started
writing
writing?
longhand, and I still have those notes from way back when.
so when did you switch to writing on the computer?
Once I got serious with it, because I was just scribbling notes, and then I said, I think I have something here. So I started typing up on the computer, and then I ended up. The story has changed so much from the original. When I look back at my original
Yeah.
notes, it's a totally different story.
So when you were working as a security guard and kind of beginning to write this, did you get another job? Or
Yes,
you
I
did-
actually got a new job pretty quickly. So within a month, I was hired.
Yeah.
So then this kind of went on the back burner, and I would work on it once in a while, but it was just tough to really find time. And then one day, so I published it last year. I think once I decided to get serious, it took me less than a year.
But
probably
you're not
6 months.
retired.
No.
No.
So I'm still working.
Yeah.
And so it's tough now, even with the book I'm working on now.
Yeah.
I work all day, I write all day,
Yeah.
and so the last thing I want to do some nights is come home and write. But
So do you work in the middle right into the wee hours of the morning with?
some days I tried the early morning thing.
Oh,
It didn't work. I can't get my juices
no,
going.
no.
So it's either evenings, I'll put in 2 or 3 hours
Yeah.
some nights, or weekends.
Or weekends.
I'll take a chunk of time on a Saturday.
And the kids are grown now.
Right, so
They're-
we're empty nesters.
Yeah.
So I'll just let my wife know I need quiet time.
Yeah.
And
that's it?
Because I can't write with distractions.
So how long did it take you to write?
Once I really got serious, probably between 6 and 8 months.
Would you tell other people out there who are looking into writing, would you say it gets easier when you start a story and it gets easier and flows quicker as you go along?
Yes. In this case, it did. With this book, I knew the beginning and the end,
Yeah.
but I really didn't know what was going on in the middle.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So as I wrote, things would just come to me, and I know it sounds kind of weird, but the characters started to write themselves almost.
Yeah. I know they
It's
take
almost,
on
it's
the
almost
life.
as though they talk.
Yeah, the life of their own, right?
They do.
We're talking with Bill Goyette, and he wrote In Our Blood, a Jake Hawksworth thriller. How, again, Bill, can they get a hold of your book?
So they can get my book on Amazon.com. It's also available through Outskirts Press. That's the publisher. They're located in Colorado,
Yeah.
but they have a website where you can order the book. And they can also order through Barnes & Noble.
And you can also find it downstairs.
And you can
at the
find it down
library.
in the library here.
Outskirts Press. I've noticed, a lot of my authors that I work with are self-published. I would say almost
Yes.
100%.
Right.
There are these little tiny publisher
Yes.
places coming up, and sometimes they do go with them. But I'm always worried that if people think, well, I'm going to go for the big publisher.
Right.
Well, right, you could wait a year or two and be completely denied,
Yes.
or you can get out there yourself.
Right.
And also, I heard that if you go with one of the high end, if you're lucky enough to get accepted, they will choose your cover for you. You have no say.
You have no say.
And then that's it. They don't. They don't act as your publicist afterwards.
Exactly.
You're on your own.
Right.
I say, do it.
Yes.
Or if like Outskirts, did they allowed you to do your own cover?
They allowed me, yes. I had pretty much all say in the cover.
That's so important. And they've got a great picture of you in the back. My God, that's a very good picture. And this is available at Barnes and Noble.
Yes, you can order. It's not in their stores,
Yeah.
but you can order it through their website. They'll order it.
That's really good too.
Because I do know I know people who they just don't like Amazon for some reason. Yeah, I mean I think it's because Amazon's so big that some
Yeah.
people prefer
Yeah.
a smaller, mom and pop type place. So I've had people say, well, I don't want to order it from Amazon. Where else can I get it? And they'll order it through Barnes and Noble. And I know several people who said they received it within 2 days from Barnes and Noble. So
You have also been on. Did you say radio or another television show?
I was on a podcast.
you know the name of the
I
host?
can't even remember. His name's Michael Gallagher.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember the
Where's
name
he
of his-
based? Where did you go?
Oh, boy. I can't even remember.
How did he
I
find
did
out
this-
about you?
He contacted me. It was back in, I think it was September. It was
Yeah.
sometime early fall. And he just contacted me out of the blue. I
Yeah.
think he may have found me through Twitter.
Huh.
Because I'm connected to a lot of writers on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think somebody may have.
Well,
passed
being
my
a
name
thriller
along.
and suspense,
Yes.
I always tell authors kind of label what you think it is, what you feel it, because
Right.
then you're going to definitely attract that. I work for a sci-fi guy, an
Okay.
author, and he has to kind of connect with where I think he's going to. If he makes his speeches and his
Sure.
where you're going to go
Right.
is where you want with your audience.
Right.
Now you probably have a bigger audience, well, more general thrillers and suspense. I think. Oh yeah, I mean libraries all over the lot, the books. But you set up in Duxbury, there aren't the bookstores around, right?
No, there's one little small bookstore in town,
Mm-hmm.
but in the South Shore area, there really aren't that many. There
I
are probably
wonder
probably a
why.
handful of small ones left.
On the Cape, I think there's
The Cape there are, yes.
Yeah, and then as you come up here into the Metro West part of Massachusetts and Blackstone Valley, like I tell the authors, I said, "Gotta
Yes.
get up this way because
would
we've
love to
got a
come.
lot of different
Yes.
places to go." Even meetup groups like to hear an author, and they say, "Well, I wouldn't be able to sell my book." Yeah, you'd be surprised. Somebody,
Right.
and if you go to a place like an expo, an author's expo,
Yes.
I didn't sell one. I'm like, don't worry about that. Your job is not only just to try to sell your book, right? But also have someone with you so that you can get up, walk around, and get the business cards of
Yes.
other authors.
Getting those connections.
Exactly.
Yes, I
It's a-
actually did that back in November. I went to an expo and met a lot of writers who were involved in the Mystery Writers of America.
What
group.
expo was that?
Oh, it was in.
You're not talking about the Rhode Island one, the huge one, no.
No, it wasn't in Rhode Island. It was in. I think it was in Norwood.
Norwood.
Yes.
Okay.
And most of the writers who attended this were with Mystery Writers of America. Some of them were with Sisters in Crime.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody contacted me on Twitter, again,
Yeah.
a writer, and he invited me to come.
Yeah.
And I just showed up, and I made some great connections.
Everybody talks about Twitter. I don't know. I like email, research. I've got a Facebook site, but I never use it.
I know. It's funny. I never understood Twitter.
Yeah.
My daughters would
They
use
taught you,
Twitter.
right?
Yes, and I just didn't get it. And then once I got on Twitter, I started getting a lot of connections from
Was
writers.
it easy
other
to
writers.
learn how to do it?
It was once, and now I mean I pretty much follow almost all writers, and writers follow me. So it's great. It's almost like an online
Networking.
networking thing, and people throw out questions, ideas, and
Does it cost?
no, there's no cost. So it's a great way to make connections in the writing world. So I do recommend that to any writers out there who
Twitter.
are looking-
Better than LinkedIn, right?
it is, because LinkedIn's
LinkedIn bores me.
LinkedIn's definitely more
Yeah.
for if you're looking for a new job.
Yeah.
I do connect to some writers
Yeah.
on LinkedIn, but not the way I do on Twitter, and we don't have conversations on LinkedIn the way we do on.
So
on
that
Twitter.
you were at a authors expo in Norwood.
Yes, and
I
I'm
didn't
trying
hear
to
about
remember. It had mystery in the name.
You would have loved going to the big Rhode Island on the Patuxent River. It was 135 authors there.
These writers, some of these were probably at that. I'm
I
guessing.
bet you. It was. I've said before, it was absolutely overwhelming,
Right.
and I loved those, but I didn't stay as long. Nothing to do with the authors. I just felt like God. I can't meet everybody. It was like you go down one and they're looking at you like, stop at my table, stop.
Yes.
I'm like, I can't take it. I'm like,
Right.
once they find out that I've got the show and have a lot
Sure.
of, and then they want to talk, and then I'll miss out on someone else.
Right.
Now where else have you been?
To promote my book,
Mm-hmm.
so I've been invited to a lot of book clubs lately.
Yeah, what are those?
Which
Where
is
are they?
really cool. So I've been to 3 book clubs in the past past 2 months,
Yeah.
since after the holidays, and I have 3 more scheduled for the upcoming month.
Yeah. Are they local book clubs?
Yeah, pretty much. One of them is in Braintree, Mass.
Okay.
It's a big one. I guess it's almost 50 people in the book club. So
And
it's
you're
one
going to
of those-
present there, right?
Yes. So the first one I went to, I really wasn't sure what to expect.
Yeah.
So I showed up, and they had a big stool, a tall stool for me to sit on.
Really?
So I felt on display. But it was fun
Yeah.
because they all sat around. It was in someone's home.
Yeah.
So it was very comfortable like this.
Oh, that's interesting.
And they just started asking me questions. They had all read the book.
Mm-hmm.
There was one person there who had not finished the book. She was halfway through, so she was curious about a lot of things that,
Yeah.
and then they could not discuss
You
because
can't. You don't want to know the ending.
it would have ruined the surprise.
So that
for
was in someone's home, a book club.
someone's home.
How about like at a library or another facility?
I am setting up something with my town library, and what I'll probably do at that one is a reading. They typically ask you to read excerpts from the book, and then
Yeah.
they do a Q&A session.
Yeah.
But at the book clubs I've been going to, they've been definitely more casual settings. It's usually groups of anywhere from 10 people to 20.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, some authors, can get paid going to libraries.
yes,
It's not always a free.
Right.
You can actually request it if you want.
sure.
There's a lot of this up in this area. The libraries, there's an awful lot of active libraries.
Yes,
They encourage the authors.
I would love to do that.
They love to do it. I think you'd love over. You've heard of Westboro?
Oh, yes,
There's Tatnuck Bookseller.
right.
Webster. Well, I guess you'd go just about any distance if somebody was
Sure.
watching and wanted you to come.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So you're in Duxbury, and it took you to get to
Took
up
me a little over an hour, which isn't too bad.
to. No, no. If you added
Right.
another 30 minutes, it wouldn't bother you. 35 minutes. All right, because they're up here. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh.
in-laws, until recently, lived out in Western Mass, Brimfield.
I grew up in Wilbraham.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
My wife grew up in Hamden, which is next town over to Wilbraham.
Well, it was called the
I think-
Wilbraham.
I think they weren't they
Yes.
the high schools were
Did
combined?
she go to Minnechaug High School?
She did. She went to Minnechaug High School.
So did I.
That's funny. That's really funny. My wife's actually here. She had work to do, but she's sitting in the car.
Oh my God! Well, tell her. Yeah, I'm a Minnechaug.
Yeah, that's funny.
Did they tear down the old Minnechaug?
I think they did. I think they
Because the
rebuilt it.
ceilings were low when I was. It was
Right.
bad. It was built in the 60s. I don't know,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
but it was. I don't know when it was.
So I used to travel all the time out
Yeah.
to the Hamden area in Brimfield. So it's this was nothing compared to that.
I know of somebody who has a television. In fact, he is our musician for our show. When you see the Run River Run,
Oh yes, I saw that when I
he
watched
is
a couple
the
of your videos.
songwriter, the musician for the entry.
Ah,
He has his own television show down in that area now.
really?
The Brookfields, Brimfield, where.
Sure.
I'm going to make a note to connect with him and see
Right.
if he can get you on his show.
Oh, that'd be great.
He's a Gary Blanchard.
Okay,
He is quite a guy.
that's funny.
Very nice.
That is so funny that you went to the same high school as my wife.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Silver Lake Regional High School, which is down in actually in Pembroke. It was 4 towns: Pembroke, Kingston,
Yeah.
where I think you said you were from.
I lived in
Lived there.
Kingston. I was a live-in nanny for a while.
So when I went to high school, there were 4 towns in that school district,
Yeah.
but then they split off
Yeah.
over the years.
How far are you from Foxborough in that area, coming up 140?
Not too far, probably a half hour maybe.
Okay, because that's that. The more you head up 140, and then you head for Milford. Milford has sometimes they'll have one author, sometimes they'll have 3.
Right.
Right up the street, Hopedale Library. I mean, there's just so many around that
Right,
they
yeah.
are very
Yeah,
author,
I definitely would like to get more involved with the
author
libraries.
friendly. Get you out there. You're not shy. You're good at presenting.
Another thing that I'm looking into is senior centers.
Oh yes.
For example, the senior center in my town, I guess they have a very, very active group, and I think there's even a mystery
Yes.
book club.
Yeah. So I've had an author say, "Oh no, a senior center wouldn't be interested." I said, "You'd be surprised.
Right.
You'd be surprised what sells in a senior center."
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, just because somebody's a certain age doesn't mean they're not reading thrillers or biographies or anything.
Right. I think that older people read more than younger people these days.
We're
so-
talking with William Goyette, and he wrote In Our Blood, a Jake Hawksworth thriller. Now, you can get this downstairs, but tell us again how they can get it.
Okay, they can get it through Amazon.com.
Mm-hmm.
They can get it through Barnes & Noble. They can also go to the publisher Outskirts Press.
Outskirts Press, and get it there.
Yes.
Now,
And it is available in both Kindle form and print print format.
Are you going to be anywhere coming up pretty soon?
Let's see. Well, I have those book clubs I mentioned. I'm not going to be at any. Well, I am doing. I told you about a podcast I'll be doing.
Yeah, that's going to be.
But that will be a radio podcast.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be really good. There's WBZ in Boston.
Yes.
I don't know if you ever listened to it at night. There's Bradley J. He's on at 12
Oh,
o'clock.
I have listened to him before.
He's pretty funky.
Yes.
He takes it. And the guy before him, oh, gosh, yeah, he's been on for a long time.
Oh, is it Michael something? No.
I can't think of his name. He has had one of our guests on, a paranormal
Not
investigator.
Howie Carr.
No, not Howie Carr.
Okay.
He's been on television.
I know. I think I know who you mean. I just can't think of his name.
He's on right before. Anyway, I mean, you could always connect over there.
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah, and get on to that.
Yes.
I listen to the midnight one. I wait to see who he has on.
Right.
Have you heard of the author? Oh gosh, he's he is an historical author in Boston area. Can't think of it, but anyway, whenever that man is on, I listen. People get to know the authors.
I wonder if when I went to that expo,
Mhm.
there was a historical writer, and they actually presented him with an award while I was there.
His last name starts with an S, and it's Italian.
And I can't remember his name, but
It's on the
he's written a string of historical novels.
Yes, about all these historical things all over.
Yeah, I wonder if it's the same guy. It could be.
I feel awful that I can't remember his name. We have had a great time talking.
Yes.
And now you're going to let us know when you have your next ones come out, right?
Absolutely. So
Anthony Samarco.
Samarco.
He's
okay.
an older gentleman. I shouldn't say older. He's probably over 70? I don't know. That's not old, but I'm just meaning, yeah.
Right.
Anthony Samarco. He's lots and lots of
I'll have to look him up, see if he may be the same guy.
yeah,
that I-
he's
that I
pretty
was
cool. And
thinking.
Bradley J has him on the
Yes.
show. Bradley J is a pretty young thinker. He has all kinds of different people on
Right.
the show. All right.
So Bradley J, if you're listening, give me a
If you're
call.
watching, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
We'll see you
Appreciate
next
it.
time, right?
All right, yes.
On Be My Guest.
All right. Thank you.